The way you could actually also check if the dividend yield works for you is to check the price that you want to buy it, plus the dividends that they have given out, and somehow projecting that what if they give the same amount of dividends next year, this would be your yield. Hey guys, so over the past few years, we've been talking about dividend stocks a lot. I've been sharing to you the narrative that if you buy stocks that give you dividends, even if you don't buy and sell them, as long as you hold on to them and as long as they're giving out dividends on a regular basis, or what they're actually giving out is something that's increasing also, you get to reap the benefits of it, especially right here, right now, when the market really isn't as rosy as what we saw in 2020 and 2021. Allow me to give you a review on the top Philippine dividend stocks also, and let's look at it from how did they deploy their dividends this year. A couple of things that you need to realize also when making a checklist for investing in companies that are giving out dividends. Number one, how consistent they are in giving out dividends, meaning if they give out dividends twice a year, are they still giving out dividends twice a year this year? Then the consistency, the amount of what you're actually getting. If they're giving out 10 pesos a year, are they still giving out 10 pesos a year? Or even better yet, I like the ones that are increasing their dividends, especially if you look at their revenue and their income are also growing, that they have already placed a certain amount to take care of their operations. They've also placed a certain amount to take care of their spending, but they also have more left over also to give out to shareholders like you and me. So the higher the dividend would be, the better it is. That's a strategy, because if you buy it at a lower price and they just keep on increasing it, that actually means also that their dividend yield would actually be bigger, better, and stronger. And that's something that's very interesting. So I'm not going to talk about dividend yields in this video because I created several videos on dividend yields already. But basically, if you want to also do this now, I don't know when you would be watching this, but the way you could actually also check if the dividend yield works for you is to check the price that you want to buy it, plus the dividends that they have given out, and somehow projecting that what if they give the same amount of dividends next year, this would be your yield. And especially right now also, we are at the tail end of the year. We're just literally 4 months left before the year would come to a close. What you're buying for right now would be for the dividends of next year. So what I want to talk about also are common stocks that give dividends and also REITs. So I'm going to talk about Globe, PLDT, SPC, GMA7, SCC, DMC, Meralco. In REITs, we're going to talk about A-REIT, RCR, M-REIT, C-REIT, the Philinvest REIT, the Vistaland REIT, and also DDMPR. We're just going to go through what they've given out as well. And let's just see in terms of consistency, are they also releasing dividends in the same manner, fashion that they've done over the past few years? And are the dividends also increasing? So let's start everything off with common shares. If you guys are super interested in dividend investing, put it in the comment section down below. I'm interested. If you guys have any questions, put it down below as well. And I'm going to make videos for you about that. And if you want to know the top dividends, just search it in the search bar, Marvin Germo top dividends. A lot will come out. Or if you want to learn more about dividend investing, type Marvin Germo dividend investing and a ton of videos will also come out. I have over 2,000 videos already in YouTube, and my main goal is to make 10,000 videos that will live forever in the internet to educate people on how they can trade well, trade strong, and trade smart. So let's begin with this. For Globe last year, they gave 27 pesos consistent every quarter. So for those who don't know, Globe has been giving out dividends on a quarterly basis for the past few years. In 2020, it wasn't 27, but they were giving out 24.83, 24.83, then 31.33, and then they started the year off with 27. This year, if you notice it, what they gave out in 2021 is the same as what they're giving out also in 2022. Literally 27 pesos per quarter. And the last dividend that they're giving out for the year is at the fourth quarter by November 2022. Now let's look at PLDT. If you have been following the videos that I have been making also, PLDT has given out one of the best dividend yields, especially if you stacked it and came in and positioned when the market dropped in March 2020. So if you look at it from 2019, PLDT gives out dividends twice a year. If you look at it also closely, they gave out in 2019 36 pesos twice. In 2020, they gave out 39 and 38 pesos. In 2021, they gave out 40 and 42. For 2022, I think it was a really good year also for them, especially last year. They gave out massively more this year than last year. So they gave about 42 plus 47, then a special dividend of 28 pesos per share. Now, if you notice it and you analyze it, they gave about 82 pesos last year, but This year, they gave about, I think, 107 pesos per share. So something very, very good. Please do note that 28 pesos is only a special dividend. It doesn't mean that it's gonna happen also, or they're gonna give the same amount also for next year. So normally, when they give special dividends, it would not be the basis for my computation for dividends for next year. Let's look at SPC. So please do note, no, a lot of people were pegging SPC also because it really gave a large amount of dividend. It's just that this year, one of the reasons why I believe the stock price dropped because the dividends that they gave out was very, very far from what they would give out over the past few years. Now, 2020, they gave 0.4 twice. For 2021, they gave out dividends 3 times, 0.4, 0.6, and 0.55. So if you add it, it's about 1.55 pesos per share. However, for 2022, right now, it's only 0.2. So I don't know if they will compensate it by giving something higher at the back half of the year. And maybe people already were comparing it that, they just gave 0.2 at the first half of the year as compared to what they gave out at a certain point last year. So please do note this. That's what makes dividend investing very interesting, is the fact that when you are not satisfied anymore with the results, with the gains, you can also transfer. You can sell it down and stay in cash, or transfer to another stock that you like as well. Next, let's continue with GMA7. Please do note also that the past few years, GMA7 has given a great amount of dividends, primarily because when ABS-CBN shut down, they literally became the #1 network, and at least their #1 competition was taken out of the window. For 2018, GMA7 dividends was 0.5, 2019, 0.45, 2020, 0.30. Then, because of the closure of ABS-CBN, 2021, they gave out 1.35, 2022, 1.45. So, if you notice the jump from 2020 to 2021 and 2020 to 2022, it's massive. It's primarily because of the extra ad revenue that they got when ABS-CBN closed down. Next is, let's look at SCC. For those who are into mining, 2019, they gave 1.25 pesos per share. For 2020, at the height of the pandemic, they gave out 1.25. Now, what's interesting was it was a good dividend year again for them in 2021, where they gave out 1.25 dividend. Then they gave out another special dividend at 1.75. Now, for this year so far, they only gave 1.5 pesos per share. So let's see if they would follow the same suit as last year, where they gave out a special dividend. However, even if you remove the special dividend and just compare the April release of the dividends, what they gave out already this year at 1.5 is already higher than what they gave out last year at 1.25. Similar to that, also another dividend stock or dividend company that people would look out for is the mother company of SCC, which is DMC. Now, for DMC, they gave a regular dividend of 0.23 in 2020, then a special dividend of 0.25. Then last year, they gave out more dividends last year. They gave 0.35 special dividends, then they gave out 0.13, then another special dividend of 0.48. This year so far, they've given out 0.14, and they've also given out 0.34 dividends. So if you add it all together, they gave more last year, but let's see how their October dividend release would also be as well. Next is, let's look at AP. 2019, 1.47. 2020, 1.18, 2021, 0.85. So they have been giving out on a yearly basis, but there was a dip last year. Then 2022, 1.45. So what's interesting about that is their dividends have rebounded. They've given out higher dividends this year as compared to 2021, 2020, and it's relatively close already to the dividends that they released in 2019, which were, as you all know, the days way before this pandemic happened. Next, and one of my favorite defensive dividend stocks also is Meralco. They have been very, very consistent for me, and whenever there's drops in Meralco and the dividend yield becomes very, very attractive already for me, that could be an opportunity for me, at least from personal level, to stack. So let's just start with 2020, but there's more flashing in your screens as well. 2020, 5.287, that's a special dividend. Then 2020, again, another 5.108 regular dividend. Then another dividend at 4.697. Then 2021, if you look at it and you try to add it, 7.824 plus 5.057. Now, for this year, they gave 10.226 plus 5.806. So, if you notice it also, what they gave out this year was higher than what they gave out last year. So, for those who stacked and accumulated at the drop in March 2020, your dividend yields right now should be very, very good. Now, let's go to REITs. Main expectation for REITs also is that they're really bought for dividends. So, it should be a notion also that you're really gonna get consistent dividends for buying REITs. The question now will just be, is it increasing? Is it consistent? Is it actually higher? And the purchase price that you've got them, is it something that will give you a dividend yield that's very attractive? Please do note also, by the time of this recording, a lot of the REIT stocks, from a price standpoint, they're down. And that actually means that you get to have higher dividend yields should dividends remain consistent. Now let's look if they remain consistent or even better. So for a REIT, 2021, 0.39, 0.42, 0.44, 0.44. For 2022, they have 0.47, which is already higher, 0.48, 0.49. So the next release of their dividends, at least to end the year, will be somewhere around October. Based on what we're actually seeing, they're releasing a higher set of dividends also. It's just that in the market, comparing where we are today compared to last year, prices are lower. That actually means that they're increasing their dividends, but the prices are lower. You get an opportunity to get a higher dividend yield as well. Let's look at MREIT. Check out my interview with MREIT CEO, Kevin Tan. It was something very fascinating and interesting also. 2021, because they just IPO'd last year, it was 0.24. And if you notice it, for the first 3 quarters that they've given out dividends this year, 0.2399, 0.243, 0.2468, they've been playing around very close to 0.24. So roughly, you get about a peso for every MREIT share that you get, roughly around that area. Let's look at RCR. For those who have been long in my channel, if you remember, I had the chance to interview also the CEO of RCR as well. So we've had different interviews already of the CEOs of these REIT companies. So similar to MREIT, RCR just IPO'd last year. So they only had one dividend release last year, which was around 0.062. Now for 2022, look at this, 0.092, 0.0965, and 0.0972. So higher dividends already off the bat on a quarter per quarter basis, at least for RCR as well. Let's look at C-REIT. This is highly also connected to Megawide. I had a chance to interview their CEO. For this year, very consistent, 0.035. Then they increased it for the next 2 quarters, 0.044 for June and August. Now let's look at PhilREIT. They were one of the first REIT companies also that gave out dividends last year. We have 2 sample sizes from last year at 0.112, and then they repeated that again for the first quarter of the year. Then right after that, 2 quarters after that, they did 0.116 and 0.088. Hey guys, so we have a new companion as we try to finish the video. So while I was recording, Satoshi was crying, so I had to be a good father and also carry her. So in the remainder of this video, she will be part of this. You will be part of this. Welcome to the vlog. Let's look at DDMPR. So a lot of people have been asking also that, okay, the price of DDMPR was lower. And for me, it's purely a dividend play as long as I'm okay and I'm satisfied with the dividends and the dividend yield that I would be getting. A lower price could be an opportunity also for me to get it. But please do know that you also have to look at the underlying business, and above and beyond the underlying business, you have to look at the people that are renting. Is it sustainable? And if they're full to the brim and their tenants are there very long, then it gives you predictability also. Anyways, for DDMPR, if you notice it, they have been also consistent. So as you all know, for DDMPR, it's a quarterly payout of the REITs. For 2021, it was 0.02, then 0.02, then 0.02, then 0.02. So roughly around 0.02 per quarter. Now, if you look at it also for 2022, they have been very consistent in giving it out. May, June, and August dividends were relatively about 0.02 in terms of the dividends that they have been releasing. So let's see how it also would go for November this year. And lastly, let's look at Vista REIT. As you all know, it just listed this year, so in terms of dividends, they only have 1 dividend released so far. They're giving out their first dividends this August 2022, which is about 0.021. I hope you guys got a lot from this, and please do remember, not just the amounts that they have been giving out, but that could be already a precursor for you to be able to at least analyze and review if the price right now, if they're lower, is it worth actually buying based on what they've given out this year and the yields that you could probably get from it as well. The principles that we want the dividends to be consistent, that they don't stop giving out dividends. Again, if they stop giving out dividends and you're a dividend investor, then it may not be something that you actually want, especially if you are a dividend investor. But above and beyond that, if you're a dividend investor, you want the consistency. If they give it out on a regular basis, then it should be still regular, but more than that, also the dividends, as from a dividend point of view, dividend investing point of view, you want it to be increasing and growing as well. That's it for now. I hope you guys got a lot from this. I hope that this was something that was very insightful for all of you, and this is something that helped you. This is something that gave you the ability to be able to weave through dividend investing and investing in the markets in general. So that's it for now with me and little Satoshi right here. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, and God bless you all. Let's put on your hoodie for the extra. Hoodie for the extra. Hoodie for the extra. Hoodie for the extra. Bye everyone.